Thanks for coming out, guys. Yeah, it's been a kind of a tough 45 or so hours since the game. But as I said Saturday, I'll say it again, that was unacceptable. Our performance, my coaching, and really tried to look at everything possibly could all the way till about midnight last night and then moved on to UCLA. So what basically the findings are is there's no one major thing. It's a bunch of little things. Details of execution, details of coaching. And when you have a lot of change like we have in the last 3 weeks, you really got to double down on the details to make sure that everybody's on the same page, everybody's doing things with the same precision. And we did not do a good job, and I did not do a good enough job of guaranteeing that happened. So you add it up, and that's what happened. Every game takes on a life of its own. We certainly had our opportunities all the way up to the very end of the first half. I mean, there's opportunity to make it a one-score game going into halftime, and just were not able to do that. So we let the game get away from us, and Wisconsin did a great job. So I'll answer a question or two to clarify that, and then I'm going to move on to UCLA. So, guys, go ahead.
I guess just starting offensively, you mentioned the details and the execution. I guess what's your level of confidence that this can be corrected to the level that it needs to be going forward, starting with this UCLA game?
Yeah, we got a great group of players here. They're really steadfastly committed to what we're doing. Yesterday was a very humbling yet sobering experience together. We talked through it all as a team, as a staff, and we went out and had a good practice, and our guys will be ready to go, and we'll have a great week of practice. And homecoming it'll be a great opportunity to go out there and play in front of a great crowd, one that deserves better than we gave them, and that's our goal as a group, is to go and be 1-0 at the end of this UCLA season and get back on track. So, yeah, I'm very confident that we can do that, but there's a very good team on the other side, and you can be fooled by the record. Don't be. When you look, they've played a very, very competitive schedule, a really, really tough schedule, and have played and been competitive in each of the games. So, again, games kind of take on a life of their own, but they've kind of seemed to find themselves as well. It's a new staff. They've kind of made some adjustments from the early season now and are playing well. So we'll have our hands full. We have certainly we're banged up. We've lost a couple more, and we'll get into that stuff on Saturday with the availability report. But it'll be a challenge.
You said UCLA has kind of found itself defensively. Rutgers played its best game in the second half against Nebraska, and then to see that kind of unwind last week, what was the biggest takeaway from you? I know you said execution and little details, but was there anything schematically or setbacks defensively that just didn't go your way? Anything big picture there? No,
there was very little that was done that we weren't prepared for, knew was coming. We didn't coach them well enough, obviously, because they didn't execute the details the way we needed them executed. It wasn't like, oh, I haven't seen that, or that's a worry. There's things that we've defended before, and even within the game, defended it one time and didn't defend it the next, which is probably the most frustrating thing. Sometimes it's different people doing it or not doing it. But no, I think we'll get back on track. We will.
Did any of the the two guys that didn't play, Tyree and Robert, and the four guys that left, Aaron, Sam, Kenny, and Flip, are any of those guys out for the season?
We're evaluating everything right now with medical, and we're not in a great spot with our health right now, but that doesn't matter. We need to make sure that whoever takes the field, the 11 guys who take the field at a time, are prepared and ready to play their very best. If they do that, that's all you can do. We didn't do that Saturday. And again, I'll squarely take that on my shoulder. It's my job to get them to be in a position to do the very best they can. Now, if that's not good enough for the team we're playing, that's life, right? But when you don't do that, you don't give yourself a chance, that's not acceptable.
Just to be clear, sorry. You don't know if any of those six guys are out for the year?
I'm going to get into all that on the availability report on Saturday.
There were obviously some drops the other day and at times this season. I guess how concerning has that been, and how just frustrating has that been as it kind of stalls out the offense at times at inopportune?
Yeah, it definitely stalls out the offense, right? There's a saying in football on defense, when you have a stop on third down, you don't have to live to see everything that happens. And on offense, when you get stopped on third down, you don't get to live out everything that happens. And we did some of those that would have been easy, clear first downs, and didn't execute, didn't make the play. Again, why? Some of it, if a ball's slightly off or a receiver doesn't, is that coaching? Some of it is, yeah. Some of it is we have to get them more comfortable, protection-wise. Everybody, it all fits together. Protection fits with quarterback, fits with running backs, fits with coverage, fits with receivers, and we just need to do a better job coaching it.
During the bye week, Kirk Shiraka spoke about finding balance, and he liked the fact that there was some balance on the offense. Last couple of weeks, it's been a little bit more heavy in the past. Do you like where the balance is at right now, or do you think you need to get back to maybe some of what was working well in the beginning of the year?
Again, the game takes on a life of its own, so sometimes that balance gets thrown out of whack. When you go down 28-0, there's just not enough series left in the game to keep running the ball play after play. It drains the clock. So I think those numbers are a little misleading, but certainly the game dictates that a little bit. We need to be able to convert on third down, and that's how you keep giving opportunities to run the ball, to ham and egg it, play action, all those things. But again, when things go the way they did Saturday, you can take all the balance and all those equations and throw them out the window, because at the end of the day, you have to try to do whatever you can to win the game. Certainly what we did until we knew the game was out of reach, and then we tried to get out of there healthy as we could.
Coach, just on your run defense, last few weeks, run defense has had a hard time stopping opponents. Where do you see, as far as reviewing the tape, you can improve upon that? Obviously, certainly not just the big plays, but also just short yardage situations and try to get off the field quicker.
Yeah, I think it's mostly technique oriented. I wouldn't even say it's assignment. There was a couple assignment errors, but I would say technique. Again, every time you say there's a technique issue, there is a guy on the other side that's trying to do an opposite technique. So I don't ever want to take credit away from our opponent, because they did a heck of a job. But we didn't do well technically as we have in the past, and as we're capable of doing. That's why I bring it back to us, to the coaches, to me. We got to get them to do what they're technically capable of doing.
Follow up on that, just granularly. You guys gave up 5 plays of 30-plus yards against Wisconsin, 17 on the season through 6 games. Why do you think that is occurring regularly?
Well, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I think there's tech. I mean, if it's busts, that's a different thing. If you're busting, you're not doing the job, you don't know what job to do, that's a different story. It's not that, but it is details. It is execution of fundamentals that we have to coach better, and we have to make sure that we get them on game day. Do the players have to do it? Sure they do. You can't do it for them, but we have to do a better job of being detailed in our teaching, better teaching, hold them more accountable, all those things that is coaching. And when it doesn't happen, you can point to everybody else, but you better look in the mirror and say, this is what we got to do.
Core tenet in this program is staying in the moment, in the present, looking a little bit big picture. Is there a difference in managing that when things are going well, you win your first 4 games, versus when they're not, losing your last 2?
Well, the beauty of our culture here, CHOP, is, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's down the middle, which most of life is down the middle, you got to stay focused and you got to stay on that spot and keep chopping away. And it's, I know people say, oh, well, that's corny. Well, it might be corny or whatever you think it is. To us, it's not. To us, it's a way of life, and that's what we need to do more than ever right now. And I'm very confident our players will do that. We have a great connection on this team. They're very, very disappointed in what happened. I asked many players, what do you think? And it is different answers. But at the end of the day, we know what we have to do, and we're going to make the corrections, and we're going to work hard this week to get all those corrections in place. And then we have a team that we're playing. Like, you look at them, they're very talented. Offensively, the quarterback, gunslinger. He can throw well on the run. He can throw from the pocket. They got a depth at running back. They got 3 returning starters on the O-line. They got a very big, long, athletic tight end, big receiving core. Defensively, they're huge. up front. They're very stout. Linebackers 49 and 20 are really, really active, really playmakers, playing behind a very big, strong D-line, which is going to be a huge challenge for us. And I think the secondary is gifted as well. So, like I said, I think they're finding their identity as a team, and they're playing really well. So it's going to be a huge challenge for us. So we have to get back to work. We need to get it fixed, and we have to be really detailed and play with great effort. Details and effort, 99% of the game, and we didn't do it well enough.
Coming off a loss like that, do you consider changes in playing time and snap counts, guys who play, and specifically at wide receiver with 5 drops? Any changes in rotation? Right?
Everything. When you come off a game like that, if you don't look at everything, you're being foolish. So we look at everything. It doesn't mean you change just to change, though. That would be the biggest mistake that you could make, right? Sometimes you look at a play and you start saying, well, maybe we should do this or maybe we should do that. Whoa, timeout, guys. You're going to change what we do based on a mistake or a poor play of technique that someone did? No, there's a reason we do it that way. Don't change what we do. Get the young man to do it the way that we originally thought he is the right way, because that is the right way. And we just have to do it better. It's worked for a lot of years around here. It's worked in several different venues, different schools, different programs. You have to demand that. You have to teach it well enough, then you have to demand it. And that's where you got to be careful. You can't start, because when you start moving all the pieces, now it's out of control. We just have to, if there's a reason to make a change, we'll make it. And if not, we just have to play better, coach better, do everything better.
What was the response you saw from Ethan in the locker room on Saturday, but then also yesterday?
Yeah, Ethan's a competitor. He'll be back. I don't think he was very far off. I thought his decision-making was very good. Maybe a little accuracy issues, some, all that stuff kind of fits together, right? Protection, receiving, quarterback play. We're a little bit off there. We'll get that back in line and go out and have a good performance. That's the best performance we can have. That's what our goal is. Let's go out and play the best we can and see where the chips fall, and that's our goal. And then we'll get back to work this week. We'll get that done. So appreciate you guys coming out. Thank you.